Are the Cubs one of the best teams in baseball? Find out next.
You are Locked On Cubs, your daily Chicago Cubs podcast. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
You are Locked On Cubs, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day, alongside Sam Olber. I'm Matt Cozy. Sam and I are lifelong fans, taking our passion into discussion with you on all things Cubs. For 108 days, the Cubs were in first place in the NL Central. They were consistent. They were efficient. They not only survived, but thrived despite major injuries in the starting rotation. Early on, this was mostly due to a prolific offense. Later, they turned into an elite defense as well, solid base running team, resurgent bullpen. And at least for a couple of days now, the Cubs have been in second place in the NL Central. Mm-hmm. The twist here is that the Cubs are in second place in the NL Central with the second best record in baseball at 60-41. The Brewers are 61-41 thanks to a 22-6 run since June 19th and 36-13 since May 25th. Sam, I really believe entering this weekend series with the White Sox prior to the big showdown next week, right now, it's clear to me, even despite what the Tigers are doing in the American League, the Astros, the Blue Jays, I really believe the Cubs and Brewers are the two best teams in baseball right now.
So, folks, we don't really talk about this before the show sometimes. He'll lay this on me because he wants my raw reaction. And so that's what I'm going to give him.
Go Cubs.
If I'm being honest with you, I'm a little bit tired of the best team in baseball stuff because every team's separated by a game or two.
Yeah, a couple games because the
Cubs, Dodgers, Mets, Tigers, Astros,
Blue Jays have the same record as the Cubs.
Yeah, and the Cubs have not been able to separate themselves from those clubs here for a while, and they basically played, slightly above 500 baseball for a month and a half now. So I think the best team in baseball are the Brewers for sure. I do think that as of right now, and I don't think you can. People might say, well, that's crazy. Well, when you rattle off 36 of 49, that's something to be there. But I think if the playoffs started, in a couple of weeks, I still think the Dodgers are ahead of the Cubs when they get their guys healthy. If that's happens,
the key for them.
Yeah, health and Mookie Betts, playing like the type of player that he is, or at least 70-75% of that. So I would say those would be the two. And then I agree. I think the Cubs are in that next tier of take your pick. I'm not a subscriber daily to, Blue Jays and Tigers baseball games, so I can't tell you exactly what's going on with them. I know the Tigers have been struggling for quite a bit here. Mm-hmm. But I think the Cubs are in that. I think they're in that tier, but I still think with what the Brewers have done lately, they're up a notch. And I just think the Dodgers with their pedigree and who's going to come back with them, because the Dodgers have looked bad for a while, but don't you feel like they're going to be there at the end?
I like to believe that, especially with the power they have behind the names on paper.
Ohtani hits a homer every night.
Yeah, and so they have one of the best players we've ever seen. Mm-hmm. They have, if healthy, one of the best rotations probably of all time. But are those people going to be healthy? Right. And they really struggle to field. They are not good defensively this year. Is Betts going to be healthy? Is Freeman going to be healthy? Going back all the way to Tokyo in mid-March when these guys were absent. What is going to happen down the stretch? What is their lineup going to look like on October 1st?
Right.
all good questions to ask. The Mets I've cooled off on.
Me too.
Throughout the summer.
Me too.
Have you too?
Yeah, I never was a huge fan of their. Like, I knew they were a good team. I never thought they were as good as they were playing.
Even though their first 3-4 hitters, it rivals the Dodgers, it rivals the Cubs.
Sure,
I think.
Yep.
But their starting rotation is a little bit loose for me.
Of course.
The Mets have overtaken the Phillies in that division in the East.
Yeah.
Because of the Phillies' ebb and flow here since before the All-Star break. Having one of the best pitchers of our time in Zach Wheeler is nice, but beyond that, and Schwarber, Harper, which I have always respected and really enjoyed them. I'm not as scared of them. I have the Padres on the periphery of all this, but I guess I find myself, after such a long run of the Cubs in first place, I am starting to evaluate the whole landscape more and really trying to convince myself of, hey, yeah, you know what? They have the second best record in baseball, but if they overtake the Brewers, they may very well have the top seed in the National League.
For sure.
And how far would that go in terms of when you enter the postseason? It's big because you play less games.
And it's all up in the air right now. And that's kind of what I was saying before the second half. I want to see them rattle off 8 out of 10. I want to see them rattle off 14, 15 out of 20, because then that would solve everything. They just haven't, now they were 8-4 heading into the break, and that was a heck of a win. And then they went 10, and then they took 2 of 3 from Boston. So they rattled off a 10 out of 15, and their only series loss was that blip in Minnesota. But I just want to see like another step, and that's why the Kansas City series was so frustrating, because if you go 4-2 and then you go sweep the Sox, that's a 7 out of 9 right there. They just haven't gotten to that next step where it's like, when's the last time we said, hey man, the Cubbies are red hot here? And if they get there, they would probably be the best team in baseball for a bit record wise. And then I think that would give everybody else, or at least speaking for myself, more confidence. They just haven't seen a lot where it's like, all right, they are those teams. I'll say Philly. I look at Philly a lot like the Dodgers. I just feel like they're going to be there. The year Schwarber's having, I mean, this is an off-season conversation, but,
Incredible.
He's going to hit 50 homers or whereabouts, maybe 40.
Yeah, definitely.
8. His OPS is in the mid-900s, and we have a guy on our team who's not having that type of year offensively, who's going to request, 450, 460, 470. I know Schwarber's a DH. I know he's a little bit older, but, what a year he's having. And it seems quiet.
And interesting timing with him being free to wherever he wants to go this winter.
It is.
He wants to potentially reunite on the north side. Kyle Tucker is scuffling. We're going to get you those stats along with his teammates and preview Cubs White Sox right after this. Today's episode is brought to you by Game Day Hue, and so is this hat I'm wearing. For sports fans like me, this one hits the mark. Game Day Hue makes clean, no-logo gear with team-inspired colors for every pro and college fan base. It's all about letting your colors speak for you. No giant logos, just smart, versatile styles that work on game day, on the course, or anywhere in between. This maroon hat I got sent to me by Game Day Hue is actually the colors of the school I teach at. Excited to rock it this fall on Football Friday nights in the booth there as I do PA announcing at my school. Excited about that. And Game Day Hue sent me a golf glove in Cubs colors. This is their split shade glove made for the golf course, or the perfect gift for the fan who has everything golf related. Right now, you can get 15% off with code MLB15 at GameDayHue.com. That's GameDayHue, HUE.com. Let your colors talk, because colors speak louder than words. GameDayHue.com, code MLB15. Kyle Tucker is 4 for his last 26. He does have 7 walks, 5 strikeouts, 2 for 14 since the All-Star break. Sam, I guess I'll start there before I list off all the other guys. Concern level with Kyle Tucker.
I don't think it's concern level, more so than just frustration.
Okay.
In the month of July, he's 11 for 58. He's
What?
hitting 190 in the month of July. He has an OPS of 583. And when you look back to the 8,612 shows we did about Tucker when they got him, the main thing I talked about is you're not going to have those type of months. His bad months are going to be 720, maybe 683, whatever it is. And he's still got time to rectify that. But he has not been good this month, and he wasn't really good heading into the All-Star break. And it's just, the eye is still there. He's not swinging at bad pitches. It's the rollover ground balls to the right side, pop-ups to the left side, and just not a ton of authoritative pop type swings. I mean, when's the last time? I know he hit a homer against Boston Saturday, but like, when's the last time he hit an absolute no doubter, like a 430-foot shot? I mean, it's been a very long time. And Ty put it perfectly on our crossover yesterday. I think it was on the Setup Man feed. Like, this is why you give up Cam Smith. This is why you go get a guy like that for this stretch, these moments. And so far he's struggled. And we talked about it a little bit on the show before the break, and it's just compounded. And then plus he's banged up.
Yeah, I hope he's not dealing with anything too serious. But the way you outline his month of July, realizing there's just 6 games left in the month,
right?
I really think this weekend he's got to break out.
100%.
And he's got to lead the team to at least 2 victories, hopefully 3, because the offense really needs that rally around effect, in my view.
Yep.
Shaw's 9 for 19 since the break. Great.
Best hitter since the break. How funny is that?
Yeah, it's great. And he's made multiple adjustments just in the last only 6 games.
It's only been 6 games, but
PCA 7 for 20, Horner 8 for 24, Swanson 6 for 21. But I think it's actually been a little better than that.
Agree.
Even though he just so many strikeouts, 9 of them. Kelly 5 of 18, and then it really snowballs.
Saya's had a rough 6 games.
Saya 3 for 22, Bush 317, Happ 4 of 22, Bruhan 0 for 2. So they're really scuffling right now, and those few guys and 5 pitchers. 8 pitchers haven't allowed a run this first week since the break, but the 5 who have, Ray, Presley, Brown, Flexen, and Pomerantz, have done really poorly. Pomerantz in particular has basically lost all the break on his pitches, namely his fastball, which has also lost velo. Not a great combination. And he's playing himself right now out of high leverage roles. It's semi-scary him in high leverage right now with the stuff that he just doesn't have. 10 batters he's faced this week, 3 hits, 2 homers, and a 1 walk, 1 hit by pitch as well. So I know he has a strong presence that counsels on record. Him and Presley, great, 2 of the relievers that are scuffling. But man, you wonder as they really approach the deadline next week what bullpen reinforcements they could get.
Right.
But what else are you looking for this weekend before we get the matchups?
Well, Levine just tweeted out about an hour ago, Cubs working hard on acquiring bullpen pitchers. Sir Anthony Dominguez. Sir Anthony Dominguez and Pete Fairbanks have been discussed. So I think that tells you everything you need to know, because we talked about it, right? You were getting performances, and you still gotten some, the Kellers, the Palencias, the Thielbars, but then, you add in the Pomerantzes. It's like, it feels great, but it also doesn't feel like it's sustainable, and I'm so tired of that word, but it never felt sustainable throughout the whole year. I mean, Flexen and Pomerantz went like a month and a half without allowing a run. I mean, that's just, these guys aren't, Mariano Rivera here. So makes sense. I mean, looking ahead as we get ready to preview the weekend, I mean, It's Tucker for me. I need to see
Good.
like a 3-4 hit game or a 2-homer game. Like we need to get him back, not just of being good, but we need a little stretch of like late March, Kyle Tucker. That was the best stretch of his season, was when we finished up in Arizona, those last two, and then the consecutive games in Sacramento,
Yeah,
So
it was a beatdown.
we need something like that from him.
Yeah, I could see that as well. Would also like to see, against House, 3 righties. I'd like to see Hap tear the cover off the baseball.
Yeah, well, I'm really doing my best with Ian.
I mean, talk about getting creative at the deadline. Are they walking down the hall to ask him about his NTC?
Yeah, and he's probably going to say, you could just turn right back around,
right, make a U-turn.
But yeah, it just feels like with Ian, the lefty swing, Matt, it just feels so slow. It's just
absolutely.
It's just he's not driving the baseball, and when he does, it's not going anywhere. So I'd love to see a big weekend out of Ian Happ. I would love it. I've been waiting for it. I still feel like it's coming, but it'd be nice.
Reese McGuire is likely auditioning for his next team these next 2 weeks, with Miguel Amaya now playing rehab games down at Sloan Park and AZ as well. I wonder if he could provide some pop in his last couple of weeks here. Don't think they would keep 3 catchers down the stretch.
No, but he's done a nice job.
Cubs White Sox this weekend, 640, 610, and 110. Imanaga and Hauser, Horton and Savale, TBD and Burke. Really excited to see Imanaga against this young White Sox offense that's 5-1 since the break. They lead baseball in runs scored. Hopefully he could keep it going. And Cade Horton was outstanding in his last start. Really excited about that game as well. I'm not excited about the Sunday one. And is Ben Brown really going to get that start? Because if he does, it's an abomination to me as a fan. They need to start strategizing this dude as a 3-out guy down the stretch. I think he can really have value in that spot if he practices it first in Des Moines.
Right.
But why he's still on this roster after what happened earlier this week is confusing. I'd like to see Flexen face his former team, see what happens, and got to win 2 out of 3.
Yeah, you got to win 2 out of 3. If you want to be taken seriously as division contenders and beyond, I don't care how well the Sox are playing, you got to find a way to win that series. You look at their lineup, Vargas, Teal, he's one of their young guys. The
Montgomery.
Catcher. Montgomery is doing some things. I mean, it's exciting. I think this will, this is probably it for the Sox season. You know what I mean? In terms of like the last real series their fans will get up for, if they even do that.
Yeah.
Hey, can you imagine Cubs are limping in a little bit? They're limping in a little bit, and then you have all these young players for the Sox have great series. You take a series against the Cubs, that would make them feel good. Adrian Hauser, Matt, do you know how many home runs he's given up this season in 62 innings of work?
Well, I'm guessing this might be a trick question, although he gave up 10 hits his last start. I'm going to lowball it. 2.
On the dot.
Wow.
2 homers?
Yeah, he's had a good year. 1.89 ERA.
Yeah, I think the Cubs are going to hit a homer off of him.
He got hit around last week, though.
Yeah, I think that number's going up. That seems a little bit almost not possible.
Sam, the Cubs have 3 with the White Sox here. Then I'm circling later in the year 3 Rockies, 3 Nationals, 3 Orioles, 6 Pirates.
Great. Yeah.
3, 6, 9, 12 as I do math on the year. That 18 games needs to be similar to the 21.
Is that 18 total games?
18 total, but they're spread out.
Yeah, you said 3 Rockies, 3 White Sox is 6, 3 Orioles is 9, 6 Pirates is 15, and Nationals.
Yes.
Yeah. You're right.
That's 18 easy games.
It's got to be 13
especially
plus.
Because besides the White Sox series, it's all after they likely get hit by trades.
Yeah. No, it's got to be 13 plus minimum. Minimum.
Good.
So.
All right. We have news and notes from this week, including Chris Jacobs with an amazing 7th inning stretch shout out to the show earlier this week. We're going to play that audio, go over a couple other notes as well right after this.
This episode is brought to you by Monarch Money. You ever wish managing your money felt easier? With Monarch Money, it can. Whether you're growing your savings or planning a big purchase, Monarch puts you in the driver's seat. It's like having your own personal CFO giving you full visibility and control over your finances. Monarch Money is more than a budgeting app. It's a complete financial command center. You can track all your accounts, investments, and spending in one place. So in addition to managing your money, you're also building wealth. Guys, for me, it's about cooking or lack thereof. I use way too many delivery food services. I order out too much. It wasn't until I started using Monarch how much I was spending and how much I could be saving. So take control of your finances with Monarch Money. Use code LOCKEDONMLB at monarchmoney.com for 50% off your first year. That's monarchmoney.com, code LOCKEDONMLB for half off your first year.
I can't keep up with all the rumors right now, Sam. It has a very December-ish vibe for me when I would go to the track, indoor track down the street from my house, and I would do all these laps. I would check in, every few laps onto Twitter and maybe shoot a couple texts to you.
Yeah.
And it just feel like things were heating up. And the next week was the winter meetings, and the Kyle Tucker stuff really accelerated quickly, was very well reported.
Yep.
And they made that deal by the Friday of that week. I really hope that this feeling right now with the Cubs connected to so many names does result in a big splash. Where are you at with that in terms of just the overall feel?
Yeah, I'm where you're at, I think. Just a lot of rumors. I'm ready to roll. But it does feel Tuckery to me. It does feel like,
well, and that for me, Sam, is Cabrera, and I think they're going to get him.
Yeah, I think Cabrera or Bubic, one of those two.
Okay,
and yeah, it feels like it's so interesting where the Cubs are at, because every move you feel like you'll look ahead. Well, they just paid 150 cents on the dollar for Cabrera. That means for sure Tucker's not coming back. And you do that. It's just everything is so dependent on each other. And I think they're just going to go for it.
Not if you could win a World Series or at least make the Final Four.
And that's what I talked about on my solo for I don't even know what day it is, a couple days ago. And I just said, hey, what's a successful season? What
Final Four. I agree.
And I think Final Four is probably where you could say, hey, we were 8 wins away from a world championship, and we went for it. And we'll see what happens. But what's so interesting about the deadline too is not just what it means for the Cubs and Kyle Tucker, and we'll probably mention this here in a bit with the All-Star game, is what's looming in 2027. Our executives saying, is Jed saying, hey, you know what? I don't even know what's happening in baseball in 2 years. So let's go. You know what I mean? Let's roll this out, and we'll figure out the rest later. That feels, I don't think baseball is going to become extinct or something crazy like that. But I would be surprised at this point if it was a 162 game season in 2027. I would be surprised if there weren't some sort of changes, with the CBA or owners or whatever. So, a lot of that feels relevant now too, if that makes sense.
It absolutely does. And that's why I'm not as concerned with cost. And for a non-rental, for someone that would be around, like an Edward Cabrera, which would be through 2028, that's going to be a high cost, just like a star player entering his walk year, even though he only has 1 year left, was a high cost in December. And I'm prepared for the Cubs to do that. And I really hope they get it done. And I don't expect them to make a high volume of moves, but if they bring in, let's say, 3 players, I think it's going to be 3 really impactful guys.
Yep.
And maybe they do more than that, but we'll see. 1 week from today, as we're recording, the trade deadline would have just come and gone.
Wow.
We're going to be all on top of that, moving forward. And that's amid Cubs Brewers. Just a giant series.
Hey, if something breaks, we'll do like most likely a reaction show for a bit and then cover it like we've done in the past.
Yeah, do a shorty during the day and cover it in full that evening. So
okay.
Also this week, multiple reports have indicated the Cubs are going to get the All-Star game in 2027. And so, which is really means they're going to have the All-Star game in 2028 because they should still have. Everyone will probably get bumped a year if there is problems in the 27 campaign. So don't get too down about it. I did that too. I did some digging, and they should then host it in 28, especially given the investment they're making around the ballpark.
Oh boy,
with safety measures. And
it's costly though. It's costly to do that.
Do you want to go to the game? I think we should go
to the All-Star game.
Yeah.
20 in 3 years. See you there.
One of the two.
Yeah. Okay.
Right?
I think we should go. Sure.
Man, what a experience to hear this on Tuesday night.
Guest conductor for Take Me Out to the Ball Game. Television host, Chicago native and lifelong Cubs fan, Chris Jacobs.
What's up, Wrigley Field? It's great to be back here at the friendly confines. Shout out to Matt Cozy and Sam Olber, hosts of my favorite podcast, Locked On Cubs.
So, Sam, you were out on Tuesday night.
Some guy in the background was going, yeah.
When you first heard about this, what was your reaction? Because this was just incredible.
So I think I could go behind the scenes with this for a bit.
Yeah, please.
Yeah, so about a week ago today,
Thursday. Yeah.
I was actually at our friend Nick's baseball game that he was coaching, and I got a DM from Chris that just basically said, "Hey, I'm a fan of your guys' show, and I'm doing the stretch, and I'd like to shout you guys out," or something like that. And I just immediately looked at his Instagram and saw they had quite a few more followers than I. And I was like, whoa, okay. I mean, this sounds amazing. Like, this is so cool, whatever. And, and then it's not that I forgot about it, but I wasn't like, sitting there waiting with bated breath. I was out with family that night. I missed that game and I kind of just zoned out. And all of a sudden, I knew the Cubs had a healthy lead. So I was comfortably, enjoying a piece of fish. And I looked out at my phone and I had 25 messages.
Right.
And usually that means Cubs trade or Cubs injury. One of those two. And so I'm like, oh no.
Or a big loss, perhaps.
And then you were the first person I saw. And I'm like, oh, he did it. He did it. And, I don't know. I don't know how much more we could thank Chris. I think we're going to have him on the show.
We should,
Post deadline. I think that's going to happen. And
good.
Yeah, that was gotta be up there for us in terms of coolest moments.
Shout out to Matt Cozy and Sam Olber, hosts of my favorite podcast, Locked On Cubs.
It's incredible what he did. I can't get over it. I'm on cloud 9 all week.
And it was such a clean shout out. Like it wasn't.
Oh, the audio is crystal clear.
Yeah, it wasn't kind of like a hey, Locked On Cubs, good podcast, check it out. 0-1. It was, shout out to Matt Cozy and Sam Olber. He even enunciated the L in my name. So,
oh man, what a cool thing! In spite of the Cubs dropping that series to Kansas City, and
a great stretch by him, and he also got in. This one's for Ozzy.
He gave a shout out to Ozzy Osbourne, who died earlier this week.
Yep.
And because we were all caught up in our shout out, admittedly, I don't know if people realized that. Ozzie was a part of that seventh inning stretch. And so I'm going to play the full thing for you after the propers here. Sam, it's been a solid week. I'm looking forward to being back after Cubs White Sox Sunday night. Big week next week, Cubs Brewers trade deadline. Hope you stay with us all summer long, all season long. This is Locked On Cubs, part of the Locked On Podcast Network. Your team every day. For your second listen, check out the all new and great Locked On MLB Game Night show. Every game, every night, all season long. Get local analysis on a national scale. And Sam, I believe that runs on weekends as well.
Yep.
MLB Game Night on the Locked On MLB channel on YouTube or wherever you listen to podcasts. All right, should we stay on screen for this or what should we do?
You could tell me.
All right. He's Sam Olber. I'm Matt Cozy. This is Locked On Cubs. Take a listen.
Guest conductor for Take Me Out to the Ball Game. Television host, Chicago native and lifelong Cubs fan, Chris Jacobs.
What's up, Wrigley Field? It's great to be back here at the friendly confines. Shout out to Matt Cozy and Sam Olber, hosts of my favorite podcast, Locked On Cubs. All right, Cubs fans, let's sing this one for Ozzie. On one, on two, on three.
Let's go out to the ball game. Let's go out to the river. Take me in and bring us in.
I don't care if I ever get back for its root for the... Three strikes, you're out at the old ball game. Let's get some runs!